So as you may have seen if you watched one of my previous videos, we've actually gotten future DLC for Borderlands 4 leaked, or specifically some of the things we can expect in this DLC, because there was a post by essentially the Epic Games Store after the showcase for Borderlands 4, where they had a big post about the game and a lot of information, and kind of at the bottom, they gave us some information on post-launch content, which wasn't seemingly supposed to be there because it was later removed in that same post, but it read, the Gearbox has pledged to support Borderlands 4 with both free and paid post-launch content following release, including 2 new playable Vault Hunters and extended story content. So that's the really important part. Kind of the most specific thing is we are getting DLC Vault Hunters again, which we didn't get at Borderlands 3, which I don't think a lot of people actually liked. I think a lot of people did want those DLC Vault Hunters. We already know we would be getting post-launch story content. It's actually interesting that they say extended here. It sounds like this is saying that some of the post-launch DLC will actually be based on the main story of Borderlands 4, because previously, if you go to something like Borderlands 3, a lot of that DLC, especially the first year, were all just not connected stories. We would go somewhere else and do some other story that wasn't really connected to the main story of the game. So I'd actually be really interested if they think the main story of Borderlands 4 is really good, or maybe it doesn't fully end and maybe there's something else that starts up during the main campaign that they want to keep going with in DLCs. That'd be pretty interesting. But the biggest thing I want to go over in this video is the 2 new playable Vault Hunters. And also, this description sounds like a small description you would have to kind of explain what you're getting in maybe the first year or the first season pass for Borderlands 4. Like, it's almost guaranteed that there will be bigger versions of Borderlands 4 you can buy, and one of them is going to have a season pass in it that has like the first year of DLCs in. So it sounds like this is what this is actually explaining, and if that's the case, we could be seeing more than 2 new playable Vault Hunters after that first year of content as well. And the main reason I want to go back over this in another video is because I have somewhat of a theory of what these DLC Vault Hunters could be, and also kind of a question to anybody watching this video, if you think this theory would actually be something you would want for Borderlands 4 and the first year of DLC Vault Hunters. And my general theory is that we could actually be getting Vault Hunters we've played before, just in Borderlands 4 as kind of updated Vault Hunters. And there isn't really a ton of information around this that this would be the case. It's kind of just a complete guess, but my theory is that because we've only seen 2 playable Vault Hunters return from Borderlands 3 into Borderlands 4 in Amara and Zane, maybe we would actually be getting Amara and Zane back as playable Vault Hunters in Borderlands 4 as those DLC Vault Hunters. And while I do kind of have this theory, more kind of posing it as a question if this is something people would actually want, I do think that there is actually a higher possibility that we get new Vault Hunters, or that we at least get 1 new Vault Hunter. I think it would probably be better if they were going to do this, that the first year they add 1 new Vault Hunter first and then add Amara or Zane, the second playable Vault Hunter, so it feels like you're actually getting something new. But I do also think that adding back Vault Hunters from previous games, even if it's from Borderlands 3, and just having them be updated for Borderlands 4 with new abilities, the new skill trees, all the new gear and stuff with all of the new gameplay elements, I think would actually be really cool. Especially because in every Borderlands game, even if there are Vault Hunters you don't like, there are Vault Hunters you very much like, you have spent hundreds or thousands of hours with, and I think a lot of people would very much want those characters, those Vault Hunters back as playable. And I had a smaller theory that if they were going to do that, they might actually add them as part of free content, because it's Vault Hunters we've played before, in games we've purchased before, that they would maybe add like Zane and Amara as 2 new Vault Hunters, but they're free, but they are also described as DLC Vault Hunters, so almost assuredly the Vault Hunters would be part of the DLC. I don't think they would take them out. That would just be crazy for pretty much any company to do. New Vault Hunters would be probably the biggest selling point for those DLCs, so they would probably be in there. And if they still want to do Amara or Zane or bring back old Vault Hunters, I think it would generally still be fine with them being in the paid DLC, especially since it would still have to do so much work, especially with how big the new talent trees are. They'll probably want to change up their abilities and have maybe some of the old ones, but also some of the new ones probably have like new augment for those abilities. So if they were to bring back old Vault Hunters, they would still have to do quite a lot of work to update them to all of the new Borderlands 4 gearing and skill trees and all of that type of new content. And I do actually like this theory in a bit of a different way. I do actually think if we were getting a bunch of new DLCs and new content like every year for Borderlands 4, they kind of did that with Borderlands 3, and I assume they're going to be doing more content and more DLCs for Borderlands 4. It'll probably be closer to a live service game. I do think it'd actually be really cool if every year of Borderlands 4 with the DLCs that we get one new Vault Hunter and one returning Vault Hunter, because I've always thought that it was kind of sad that we get all of these really cool Vault Hunters with all of their cool abilities. We go through all of their like stories. We always hear their voice lines. Even if you don't like these characters, you probably start to like them somewhat while playing so much of every Borderlands game. That is kind of sad that we don't actually get them returning in new Borderlands games, except some of them sometimes returning as NPCs and sometimes being killed off. So I would actually really like if every year we got two new Vault Hunters, one brand new and one returning Vault Hunter from one of the previous Borderlands games. Like the first year of Borderlands 4 DLCs, we could get a new Vault Hunter and then Zane returning, as I think he's kind of the most liked Vault Hunter from Borderlands 3. And then say the next year we could get another new Vault Hunter and another returning character, and not just from Borderlands 3, I'm talking about from any of the previous Borderlands games, because there are tons of Vault Hunters from all the previous games that people would like to really play again, and that would be really interesting to see how they go about making them in Borderlands 4. And I think every game previous to Borderlands 3, they would actually be more interesting to see how they recreate those characters with a lot more action skills and a lot bigger skill trees. Because remember, previous to Borderlands 3, you only had that one action skill for your character. We didn't have all these multiple action skills and augments and all this stuff. So it would be really interesting to see those old Vault Hunters with a bunch of different action skills and a bunch of different build possibilities. So let me know what you think about this theory of having old Vault Hunters return as new playable DLC Vault Hunters going into Borderlands 4. But that's all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.